Good morning from my living room to yours. Go ahead and slide yourself to the edge of the chair. And let's just take a minute to find our breath and our exhalation. And notice how deep you breathe or how shallow. And the next time, try to focus on your sitting bones and feel them as you inhale. And let go and exhale. And again, as you inhale, maybe a slight push with the sitting bones into the chair. Bring them to our awareness. And exhale. And one more. Inhale and kind of like make the sitting bones noticeable, pressing your pelvis and your torso into the chair. And let go. Pa-pam, 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 pa-pam. Just the heels, ta-tam, 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 pa-pam, 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 pa-pam. Let's do it one more time. Pa-pam, 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 pa-pam. And now we're going to inhale and we're going to lift the arms up, crossing them in front of the body. And as you inhale, still push very lightly the sitting bones into the chair, creating space, making the torso long and letting it go. And let's do it one more time, crossing the arms and inhale and get the sitting bones a little bit deeper into the cushion of the chair and your ribs a little bit higher towards the ceiling, and let it all go. And now put your hands on your thighs and we're going to do a very deep inhale, pressing the sitting bones even more clearly into the chair and lifting the sternum and lifting the ribs and lifting the head a little bit and let it all go. So we have like a stretch in the front here, not too harsh. And press the hands. You stretch as much as your inhale allows. And exhale. Let's do it one more time. It feels so good. And press and inhale. And let it go. Good. Relax your arms in front of the chair. And we are going to start moving the knees forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. And put your hands on the bones of your hip, on the ilium, ASIS, and feel how they move. Maybe not much, but they move. And maybe one of them move more than the other. Do you have one that's more flexible than the other? My good hip, my better hip. Keep on moving the hip and let the legs slide as if they were on a train tracks, kind of parallel, or you're sliding on skates. Keep on moving, and make it lighter. Make it where you can do it and tell a joke and smile at the same time, without getting confused. Just keep on walking with your hip. And as you're doing it, Are you tightening your buttocks on one side? See if you can let that go. And just slide forward and back without tightening the glutes. Just going back and forth and back and forth. And instead of getting bored with it, start getting curious about it. How am I doing this? And how is one side different than the other? How can I maybe bring the side that's lagging a little bit behind to be more active and do it the same way that the other side, the side that's easy for me? Okay, let it go, rest. Take the side that was not so easy for you and only do that side, forward and back, forward and back. So it will be different side to each of us. That's why I'm not saying side. And just move that side that was not as willing to move easily. And don't force it, don't be mean to that side, be loving to that side and glide it in a way that becomes easier. So maybe you need to do less. Maybe that side you use muscles that you don't need to use. And let it go. Let the arms go. So now we're going to put the hands back on the hip, kind of so we can feel the bones. So it's a little bit to the side, but in the front, and the edge of the belly. So the belly is in the middle, and as you go down from the belly, you have like two bones. The ASAS, it's the ilium that you can feel. And now we're going to contract the glutes on the right, whoop, and make that side of the buttocks jump up and let it go. And now contract the left and let it go. Make your right side jump and let it go. Can you do one side at a time? And the left. Can you tell how different one side from the other? Sometimes we use muscles that we don't really need to use for a certain movement. And that's extra work. Who wants to work extra? Right and left, and 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 right and left. How fast you can squeeze, 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 and let it all go. And now we're going back into the sliding, 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 sliding. There's a big difference between lifting and tightening the buttocks to sliding. Can you see the two movements, how different they are? Good. So let's lift the right hip, slide it forward, slide it back, lower it down, lift. I'm doing my right, so you can do your left or your right, whichever. I forgot to mirror you. And lift one hip, slide it forward, bring it back. We're going to do only that side. Lift it up, slide it forward, slide it back, lower it back down. Lift the hip, slide it forward, bring it back, lower it down. Lift the hip, slide it forward, bring it back, lower it down. You can do it at any tempo. You don't have to do it as fast as I'm. You can do it very, very slow. Let's slow it down. I don't know why I'm rushing today. And lift it up. Find how high you can go comfortably. Notice how your ribs have to make room. Now find the sliding forward. Now bring it back. Some people tell me that they don't do my classes because they're too slow. Maybe that's why I'm speeding up. And up. Personal style is important, but sometimes it's also good to stretch our envelope and to go into things that we're not so comfortable or don't speak to us. Just to be able to kind of stretch what we do and how we do. And slide forward and back and down and lift the pelvis, slide the leg out and back and down. Rest for a minute and just get the sensation, how it feels on that side. This class has come to me because this morning I was walking with a friend and we talked about the parts that we need to move while we walk, and based on what was a little bit difficult for her, here it is. So we're going to go to the left side after we had a brief relaxation and lift the pelvis, slide the leg forward, bring it back. And for me, when I do this side, which is my side that doesn't really respond as nicely from the pelvis, the minute I did it, I could feel a little crackling in the ankle as I glided my leg forward. See how many things you can notice. And looking at myself in the camera, I can also notice that when I'm going with this leg, I'm actually leaning a little bit to the right. And so now next time I'm going to try to stay in the center and see what that feels like. Because this is a compensation. So I'm lifting my hip, I'm sliding forward, and if I'm staying dead center, different muscles in my lower back are being used. Keep on being curious and gather information, and you can do it faster or slower. The slower you work, the more chance for you to become aware and notice. But don't fall asleep, don't fall into boredom. Be curious, lift and slide and back and come back to the center. Sit on the edge of the chair. And again, just notice what it feels like now on both sides. And slide the left and the right, forward and back. See if there's a little bit more freedom. Not bigger, we don't need bigger, but we need coordination and a kind of a rhythmical, because when we walk, this movement needs to happen for the spine to do a little bit of a rotation and for the spinal fluid to keep on being pumped up. Okay, so now we have the upper body. So let's bring the arms up and glide the arms out and in, just like we did with the legs. So now we're working from the shoulders rather from the hip joint. And we're moving the right forward and the left forward. And we're doing it parallel to the floor. And feel how your shoulder blades, your scapulas are moving forward and backward, forward and backwards, forward and backwards. I think some of the best classes that, at least in my opinion, that I come up with are from people that ask me questions or say I can't do this or I can't do that, or I have this injury or that injury. And that makes me kind of come up with something that will address it. Now, change the direction of the hands. Maybe palms towards one another. And rest. Gets tired in the back there, doesn't it? So now we're going to put our hands on our thighs. And we're going to keep on doing the same thing. Forward and back. forward and back, forward and back. Are your ribs rotating as your arms are gliding forward and back? Now go to your one side and notice how far your ribs went and how far do you see. And now do the same thing to the other side and notice how much your ribs went to that side. And notice if one side rotates easier than the other. And if it's the same thing that was in the leg. For me it is. So when I turn to the left, it doesn't go as easy. When I go to the right, it says, oh, I know this curve. And it could be because of a slight scoliosis. But we're not going to even go into there. We're just going to figure out which side is easier. And stay on the side that's not as easy. And just turn your head a little bit further back and forward. And just the head back and forward. And back and forward. And each time your head goes back, your ribs get a nudge. A very, very gentle nudge. Not a push, not a stretch, not a bang, just a nudge. And now keep the head there and just bring your eyes towards me and away. Forward and back. Just the eyes, forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Relax it all and come to the center. We're going to do the arms again and notice if the ribs are now a little bit more comfortable on both sides, rotating. And see if you can include the hip now and the knees. Can you get the legs and the arms to move? And notice what your head is doing. Is your chin going to the shoulder that's in front or to the shoulder that's in the back? Stop. Where is your chin? On the side that's going forward, on the side that's going back. Change. It's kind of a little bit like a Spanish dancer, right? Ta-ta-tam. Ta-da-da. But we don't have to go into all that. We can only just find it. Change. Change. Change, 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 change. And now, keep your head but change your body. So your head is going to the back shoulder and change hands and legs and the head goes back. And head goes back, away from the side that's going forward. Doesn't make much sense for walking, does it? Head and eyes go back as the arm and leg goes forward. Okay, enough with that. Pa-pam, 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 pa-pam. Pa-pam, 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 pa-pam. Inhale. Enjoy the oxygen coming into your body, spreading it, and let it all go. And again, take an inhale. And let it all go. But what we did until now is in sitting makes sense, but in walking it will not make sense. In walking, we are going with the right shoulder. I'm going to do my left, you're going to do your right. So mirror me. So when the knee goes forward, the opposite arm will go forward. And slowly change. And when my right, your left leg goes forward, the left arm will go forward. So we are marching like soldiers. So don't think about the knees so much, think about the hip turning. So when this hip turns forward, this arm will go forward. The opposite. 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 And now lower your eyes a little bit and look at your knees and direct them forward rather than falling in. So forward, 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 forward. Make it as small as you need. And when you get to be in linear, meaning the knee is not falling out nor in, start paying attention to the rotation in your lower back. We have the sacroiliac joints right here, and they get a little rusty. And as we're doing it, you'll be able to start moving them a little bit and sensing them. So, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it is important because when we walk, if we have deviation from what's the most efficient, we're compensating. And when we're compensating, we're using muscles that maybe we don't need to use for that task. And if we're doing it over and over and over, we get patterns that are not useful and bring pain. I'm not laughing. I am laughing because I'm talking and I can hear the rhythm of my talk based on the rhythm of my doing it. So, how attentive can you be? So like for me, when I go forward, my right leg wants to fall in. Even though you don't really see it, I can feel it. So I will slow down as I'm doing my right. So let me talk about patterns, and I'll talk about myself because I know myself better than, I can see you in the camera. My pelvis and my spine rotates more on the right. So the right leg will have a tendency to rotate in, where the difficulty is to rotate back with my left, so I'll have a harder time bringing the left leg backwards. So as I'm going back, I will focus on my left. As I come forward, I'll focus on the right leg staying in line and the foot being really anchored to the floor. So see if you can find what it is that you need to do to focus on the alignment that will work for you. And you can take it very small and very slow and kind of like find what it is that you need to do. Not all the exercises are oompa and like one size fits all. You need to find what works for you and how you can make it better. And once you are walking, are you gliding forward and back? Are you rotating your lower back? And do you feel the coming up in the spine? Can you sense the lifting of the spine? And can you lift your eyes now and look forward to the horizon? If you find the rhythm and the rotation of the pelvis and the rotation of the spine and the lifting, you're going to notice that your eye level has risen up a little bit. So no more looking for pennies on the floor, but actually looking further forward to the future. I'm getting poetic here, huh? Okay, and rest it all. Put your fingers over the kneecap, over the patella, round your lower back, round your head. Slump in this position with your fingers supporting you from falling backwards. And now slowly inhale from the tailbone, lift your spine up one vertebra at a time. Don't move your fingers from the underneath the patella until you get with the eyes all the way to the horizon. When I went to high school in Israel, our first English book was Widen the Horizon. So that word is stuck with me since I'm 14. And round your lower back, and round the mid-back, and round your shoulders, and slump your head down. Rest here, breathe. And when you're ready to take an inhalation, start stacking the sitting bones, attach them to the chair, and start building up the spine, one vertebra at a time, until your eyes are coming up and you see what it is in front of you. And we'll do it one more time. Round your lower back, round your middle back, round your shoulders, round your neck, let go of your head. And slowly, when you're ready to inhale, press the sitting bones into the chair, make contact, make sure that your feet are on the floor, and slowly build up your spine, one vertebra at a time. Relax the fingers from underneath the patella, cross your arms, left arm in front. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale. Bring your right arm in front. Inhale up. Exhale. And walk, and walk, and walk, and walk, and walk, and walk, and walk. How does it feel? A little easier? Okay. Thank you so very, very much, and I'll see you next time.